Hello, guys. I hope you guys have had a good week thus far. We're already into Tuesday here. Hope you had a good weekend. Today, we're looking at a brand new update for Age of Mythology Retold, which focus is around multiplayer. So, this is the Age of Mythology Retold update 17.30764. And the Age of Mythology Retold update, there's the image. Welcome, heroes. It's the dawn of a new patch. Today's patch will include significant updates and fixes to gameplay, UI, controller, hotkeys, and so much more. You will also find lots of balance updates as well. So take a peek, jump in to the latest for Age of Mythology Retold. Thanks again to our amazing community members, all of whom have helped make Age of Mythology Retold a success thus far, the Age of Mythology team. By the way, I had quite a few people ask me to make videos like this. It's not normally something that I make a lot of, but I did plan on doing it for this game. If this is something you'd like to see more of, me talking about balance, updates, community news and stuff, please let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely start making more of those as well. But without further ado, let's jump into the first topic, which is the game. Stability and performance. These are just all fixes for out-of-sync errors and a few other things. So these ones right here are all out-of-sync errors due to different variations of the game. Loading into Arena, I know that was a big one as well. Fixes for various situations where crash could occur. Again, generic, but for the most part, these are just generic fixes that are going to make the game smoother, lag less, crash less, run out of sync less, which is amazing. We had localization, updates for localized strings. That's good. Achievements, fixes to improve support for achievement progression when players are offline. The pet of set achievement can now be completed while offline. So again, if you're on your laptop somewhere or whatever, and you don't have connection, you can still get that achievement. I know achievements are really, really important to those achievement hunters out there, so I get it. Graphics, fixed a bug causing particle effect shadows to appear darker than intended when ray tracing is enabled. Okay. Fimbulwinter, VFX no longer spawns on allied neutral TCs. It makes sense. There's no reason for them to be there. Berserks no longer display VFX for the Fury of the Fallen bonus upon being spawned. Fixed a bug causing the relic attach points to sometimes break when loading games. Minor visual polish for some graphic assets and VFX. That's always nice to see, by the way, that even after the game's released, they're still doing things to some of the assets and making things look better, polishing things near the end. I like that a lot, that they're still doing things like that to make the game, even more eye candy than it already is. Audio. Minor improvements to the audio volume in situations where it was too loud. Makes sense. There are some situations I can think of off the top of my head. I think automatons, when there's too many of them, make a lot of noise. I don't know if that was what was included, but that's something I can think off the top of my head that's currently like that. Unit voices are now controlled by the speech on and speech volume options instead of the general sound options. That's cool. So basically, instead of it being bundled in with the general sound option, you can now do this separately from that. So you can still have your other sounds up or down, and then just turn down the volume or up the volume for the voices if you want that separate from the rest of the game to make it more clear. All right, so now we're getting into some of the meat and potatoes of the whole thing here. The UI. The Spider Layer and Loki Spy Eye no longer appear on the active God Power list for non-allied players when cast. That's fine. UI polish to fix minor layout and text clipping issues. Okay, just another fix there. Icons now show next to players in multiplayer lobbies to show the input Listen. For controller players out there, this is a big one. I know most of my viewers now, you're not controller people, but you have to understand how important that is right there. That's actually amazing. I'm actually shocked that got put in, because I don't think it's in Age of Empires 2 or 4. So the fact that I could be wrong about that. Maybe they added it later. But the fact that we have that now, that means they actually do care about the console community. I already knew they did, but it's showing everyone else that they do too. And that is exceptional. Thank you so much to the devs for that. Game pause text is now displayed in the HUD when the game is paused. Okay. Resource storage is now properly refreshed when changing unit selection in all cases. That's awesome. Fix slow download speeds when downloading large save files in multiplayer lobby. That's good. Anything that makes the game run smoother and faster for people, I am all for. Multiplayer skirmish lobby settings now persist from your last hosted game. Another awesome quality of life fix. Ranked and quick match choices now persist from the last time you queued. Another great fix. A new visible option has been added to the map visibility. Awesome. Players you recently played with will now appear in the invite party default list. These are just all such good changes so far. I mean, we haven't gotten to the balance stuff yet, which I'm sure will be controversial, but I mean, so far, all these generic changes and whatnot are just awesome. And they're obviously listening to the community and they're putting in some great stuff here. I'm very excited for this so far. Faster updates in the lobby browser. Added a window notification sound to alert players when a game is found and the window is not active or is minimized. Okay. The one thing I hope they fix, I don't think it's been in here. We actually looked up in sound; it wasn't there. But I, as a streamer, as a content creator, and maybe it matters for you guys as well. When you tab out of the game, the audio stops, and I really hope there's a way to fix that at some point in the future. Multiplayer server regions are now consistently named and sorted. That's awesome. Performance warnings will no longer show in auto-matched lobbies. Great. Notifications for failing to garrison units are no longer displayed for all players. That's awesome. Steam users trying to use the new game ID URLs. I'm actually not sure how to use these still, but I'm really intrigued as to how to use them. So if somebody listening to this video or watching knows how to use those right now, please let me know. May need to verify the game integrity of the file via Steam to allow the URLs to work from outside of the game. Fixed a bug that caused canceled technologies to inflate the post-game economy resources. That's good. It's just a little visual thing at the end of the game, but that's nice. I haven't seen it yet, but I wonder if they fixed the inflated resource thing. If you guys have seen it when you've seen casts or if you watched replays, where the military bar gets like inflated for one side or another for whatever reasons. Hope they get that fixed because that's kind of unfortunate to see during a cast because a lot of people look at that bar to see who's got the most military and whatnot. We have the God Picker Tech Tree view now correctly accounts for tech tree overrides. That's awesome. Fixed a bug causing partial name searches to not work when searching to invite friends. That's awesome as well. I keep saying awesome, but like when you're looking for a person or a friend or something like that, and you type in just part of the name, you have to type in their name exactly, otherwise nothing pops up. So the fact that they've got that fixed now, and hopefully more fixes in the future, that's great. The browse game lobby now features sortable headers. This is all good stuff. Spectators are now shown as new sortable column in the browse game. Spectators are now shown as a new sortable column in the browse games lobby. Interesting. Huh. Quick match and ranked matches will now show with player names in the match title in the browse games lobby. Okay. Wow, this is like really good so far. Fixed a bug causing some player reporting options to show an error when submitting a report. Added a new filter to the browse games lobby to hide show full games. This is, I mean, that whole list is fantastic for the UI. I mean, that's exactly what this game needs. I mean, I hope we get more and more of those. That's just great quality of life stuff here. Now let's take a look at these hotkeys. Pre-queue hotkeys have been added. Again, I know a lot of players have been asking for those. That's where you can like do pre-queue moves with hotkeys and whatnot to like, how do I explain this? You could already do pre-moves, but you didn't have any hotkeys for them. Okay, put it that way. Find and select myth unit hotkey entries added. That's great. Katascopos and Rock are no longer selected with the select all military hotkey. I hope that's the scout. I hope that for those who don't know, that's the scout, I believe, for the Greek. Hope they fix this for Xbox as well because controller players, when it comes to like the Pharaoh and stuff, we don't want the Pharaoh included in our military when we hit all military. So I do have a really cool solution for that, but that'll be for another video. Added a hotkey to select a hero and cycle between heroes without snapping the camera. I think we already have that for Xbox, so I guess the controller people are ahead of the meta there. Added alternative hotkeys for some economic buildings to allow all cultures to have the same set of hotkeys for drop sites. Good stuff. Added a hotkey to show the tech tree. Again, great stuff. The XS debugger dialog is no longer opened when pressing the default hotkey for selecting all heroes. So this is amazing stuff so far. I know a lot of my old viewers are going to like this as well. Controller and Xbox fixes. Expanded minimap inputs can now be performed while the controller R button is held. And I think that's for like putting down flags and flares and whatnot. You can actually select it without having to actually go to that part of the map, which is awesome. The thing that we're still lacking, and I think PC players are lacking this as well, or mouse and keyboard players, you can actually select the minimap to tell things to move, which would be nice. The D-pad quick commands were added for the control groups menu. Again, awesome feature. And the fact that we even have this here means that they do care about console and controller players, and I'm just so excited for that. And I can't wait for the next patch even. I assume that they're going to do some even more great stuff. So really, really hopeful that we'll see this continue as a continued trend, and the Xbox and controller crowd continue to get more and more fixes and isn't left on the the road. Because at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter if you're on PC, Xbox, whatever, if you're using mouse and keyboard controller, we're all playing the same game, and the higher the player count, the higher the view count for content and everything, it's good for everybody. Improvements to the quick find functionality. I was trying that today, and I don't know if it's just me or if I haven't played that much, but the D-pad seems to be more reactive, like almost no latency, which is really, really good. I don't know how they did that or if it's all in my head, but it feels really smooth. Improvement to the Y quick action, same thing, same exact thing. UI interactions are not currently available. Now hide for the controller UI. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on the UI for the controller that we couldn't use. So now the fact that they're hidden and not there on the screen, number one, it's less confusing for people that don't know what those are, and maybe they're trying to access them and they know they can't in the first place. And then the other reason obviously is having something on screen that doesn't need to be there is just wasted real estate of the screen. So happy that is gone. Added vibration feedback for hold events. I'm happy with that as well. Anything that can haptic feedback, whatever it is, for realizing certain things are happening. Awesome. Ongoing improvements to controller UI. Again, yeah. So ongoing improvements. I'm excited for that. If you're playing on controller, they're continuing to do more stuff, and I'm personally excited for that. Gameplay fixes. Researching Secrets of the Titans before or after building a wonder no longer results in different cost cooldown values. I actually didn't know that was even a problem, so that's interesting. Wonder Age no longer causes Asgardian Bastion to become free if Ring Oath has been researched. Meteor Roulette Cheat now has been intended effect. The Omniscience Tech cost is now calculated correctly when pre-queued. I wonder if there was a bug if you pre-queued it when it was only 100 or something, and then by the time you got it after a bunch of upgrades, you could still get it later for cheaper. I wonder if that's what was going on. I didn't hear about this, but now reading that, I can see that as a problem. So basically, your opponent has way more units, but you're getting it for cheaper. It's fixed now, but that's interesting. Units that can't be healed, Cyrus can no longer progressively restore their HP when garrison. Come on. It wasn't even... Come on, man. I found this out. Someone in my chat told me about this, that you could put Son of Osiris in a building and it would slowly heal. It was so slow that it's almost redundant, but the fact that they took it away makes me so sad. I hope they add a new way for it to heal or something, because that's a little depressing. Fixed a bug where Zeus's favorite gather rate bonus and golden apples effect were incorrectly gathering more favor than intended, especially with many villagers praying. Yeah, Zeus has had just crazy favor gather rates, and it's been nerfed a few times, I'm pretty sure already. Fixed a bug that caused some units not to begin patrolling if they were ordered to patrol from within a formation. Yeah, I've seen that, and I know exactly what that's talking about. So the fact that they fixed that is amazing. Fixed a bug causing disabling units through triggers not to persist when load from save games. I didn't know personally about this, but I can see that as being a big issue. Land and naval units can now be selected in the same group. Didn't know that was an issue, but now we do. And it's fixed. Fixed a bug allowing many Colossus to overlap when using the heal ability. Interesting. Caravans will now recalculate their carried resources when tasked to perform trade on another town center. That's good. So say you lose a TC in a big fight, and that's the one you're using for trade, and then you switch to another TC, the calculation for their gold won't mess up. It'll be correct now. Target armor and damage bonuses no longer persist to all units affected by area persistent damage, used by centaurs, chimeras, and similar units. That's good. The campaign. Even though this was a multiplayer focused one, we still have campaign stuff in here, which is awesome. Campaign balance changes. The Servant of Kronos pin in the campaign menu now appears in its correct location for the prologue. The visual minor polish adjustments were applied to many campaign missions. Improvements to AI, balance, and triggers for many of the campaign missions. Missions add updates include at least Follow the Trident 5, 6, 7, 9, 12, and yeah, we're not going to say all that. New Atlantis, and then Mythic Battle God Pack map. Good stuff. And here we go. Some of the stuff I'm sure you guys were excited to actually see. The balance. So, docks address the following issues. Can now properly target sea snakes and water carnivoras, which is awesome. Before, you couldn't use your docks with fishing ships in them to actually shoot those, and it was making Egypt an absolute menace on the water, as I'm sure many of you know. Fixed a bug where docks incorrectly showed 2 projectiles in the HUD. They fire 1 projectile. Deathmatch game mode starting resource has been changed from 15,000 to 20,000 food, wood, and gold. Heroic fleet cost reduced from 200 food, 200 gold to 15 favor, and it's changed to 150, 150, and then 10 favor, which is a pretty drastic reduce. And here we go, the Pantheon changes for everybody. The favor rate formula, again, this is that Greek stuff for the favor. Greeks now earn less favor when praying with large numbers of villagers. This effect was already present, but has been made more pronounced. Below are some examples of the new rate at different amounts for villagers. 1 villager, no change in favor rates. You won't notice with 1 villager. 5 villagers, minus 4.6%. 25 villagers, minus 17.6%. So it just gradually goes up. The more villagers you get, the less total you get per villager, basically. And here we go. Major gods Poseidon. The lure. The god power fixed a bug where it was unable to research granary upgrades. Now behaves exactly as if it were a granary. This is what we talked about quite a few times. The lure is so good. I mean, you guys, the fact that it's a drop-off point now, you can use it to upgrade your granary upgrades. It is such a good power. And the minor gods here, we have Dionysus, the horses technology. The cavalry lifesteal increased from 20% to 30%. So that's going to be insane. So when doing raids in the heroic age with Poseidon, that's going to be so good. Like, you're going to be able to go in, do hit and runs, heal while you're fighting, and then run away. That is some cool stuff. The Aphrodite curse power. Total unit resource value reduced from 850 to 800. So the way it worked was the resource basically count for a unit. That's how many units you got to use the curse power on to turn into pigs. That's why when you sometimes see curse used, it only works on 2 units. Sometimes it works on 10. It depends on the cost and whatnot of the unit, and that's how they determine how many units you're able to turn into pigs. And they just reduce that by 50 from 850. Myth units, the Centaur, Hermes, adjusted as follows. Special attack bonus damage versus heroes reduced from 0.5 to 0.25. And the Centaur's been a problem. It really has. Centaur cost increased from 180 wood and 12 favor to 180 wood and 14 favor. So up by 2 favor there. Wood count, still the same. Human units, archaic age heroes, Jason, Ajax, and Theseus, adjusted as follows. Train time decreased from 15 to 5 seconds. So you can just pump those bad boys out immediately after they die. Bonus for myth units increased from 9x to 12x, so they're going to be destroying myth units. But their HP's been reduced by 50, so they're going to do more damage, but they're going to take a little less. So what this means is, in a fight, if you are against the Greeks and you have a mixed army, you have myth units, whatever, try to use whatever units you have to take out those myth units as quickly as possible. Their hero units as quickly as possible. That way, they don't have time to actually kill your myth units, because they will kill your myth units even faster now. So you got to make sure you take them off the battlefield and then continue the fight. All right, the Egyptian Pantheon, major gods, Ra. Additional bonuses, berry bushes now gather 25% faster. This means Ra villagers gather berries as fast as huntable animals, which is really good for Ra. Isis, Flood of the Nile, technology, cost increased from 135 gold, 5 favor, to 135 gold and 8 favor. So 3 favor difference there. Minor gods. PETA, Electrum Bullets technology, heal rate improvement decreased from 100% to 50%. So that's been decreased by quite a bit. 15% slinger damage removed, replaced with slinger +1 divine damage. Interesting. So divine damage is basically the equivalent of guaranteed damage. I'm not sure how else to say that. So I'm wondering if that's going to be better or worse, and if so, in how many cases is it worse, and how many cases is it better? I'm not exactly sure how that number works, but divine damage is really good. It just means it's going to be better versus everything instead of certain things. Cost increased from 100 gold, 10 favor, to 150 gold, 15 favor. Interesting. The Anubis Plague of Serpents, God Power. Sea snakes adjusted as follows. This one's been a problem. Hit points decreased from 90 to 65, hack damage decreased from 11 to 9, and chase distance decreased from 20 to 16. I don't know if this should have been nerfed. I think after the dock fix, it wasn't such a huge problem on land. It was a little bit, but not a huge problem, I don't think. The Sobek Hathor, Locust Swarm God Power. Locust Swarm is now wider, making it possible to damage more units. I really hope so, because it's funnily enough, I actually watched this used for the very first time against an actual army. And normally, I think in the original game, it actually didn't work against units. It was just only really used for villagers. So now it can be used on armies, and it's going to be wider. I'm actually excited to see if that's going to be used that way instead of just on villagers now. The myth units, the Rock for Sobek and Hathor, can now properly use the patrol command. I mean, I'm happy it's fixed, but it shouldn't be a patrol unit. It should be good enough to be what it's meant to be, which is pick up units and drop them off and do harassment that way. The Petrotsuchus, bonus damage versus myth units increased from 1x to 2x. I'm happy about that because this thing was lacking there for a little bit. The Scarab, crush damage increased from 55 to 75. So hopefully we'll see some more Scarabs out there, because while we did see them a little bit, they could definitely have used some love there. So I'm excited to see how fast they can crush some buildings here. Buildings, Monument to the Soldiers. Cost increased from 75 food and 75 gold to 100 food and 100 gold. This is the second available monument. Interesting. The Norse Pantheon. Convert Villager Berserk. Cost increased from 30 gold to 20 food and 30 gold. So it just added 20 food there. Convert Dwarf to Berserk. Same thing. Actually, no. It's from 20 food to 30 food and 10 gold. Interesting. Major Gods. Odin. Odin's been a problem too. He's been an absolute beast. Odin, the Great Hunt God Power. Great Hunt maximum food created in Archaic Age reduced from 800 to 600. Raven Scout, line of sight reduced from 20 to 10, but now also gains +4 line of sight per age up. So basically what that means is it's going to be worse in the early parts of the game, but will continue to get better throughout the game. Making it so, because if you guys don't know, his scouting at the beginning of the game is just so strong. And we have Loki. Convert Villager Dwarf to Berserk is no longer free, which is crazy because that was one of like the big things for Loki. Instead, it's reduced by 50%. So it's a lot cheaper than normal, but his normal is free. So it's going to be a pretty big increase for him. And Loki players may need to adjust, because what we've seen is when players are going to get hit or whatever, like a gold mine's exposed and they go in for a raid, they'll just convert them all to Berserks really quick, fight, and then maybe push and go for like an all-in right there. We're going to see that a lot less, I think, now. Minor Gods. The Vidar Fury of the Fallen technology now indicates affected units with a VFX. That's pretty nice. The Atlantean Pantheon. Starting wood increased from 200 to 250. That's going to make them even better. I'm excited for that. The Economic Guild upgrades for Gaia. Cost reduction increased from 35% to 40%, or minus 40%. So she's going to be even better economically. I'm really excited to see some Gaia play for sure. Not enough of that. The Economic Guild, Gaia now reduces the building's cost by minus 40% as well. Previously didn't. That's awesome. The Gaia Lush maximum radius increased from 20 to 24. That's okay. I just wish the Lush itself did a little more, but still awesome nonetheless. Or maybe if the Lush came from different structures as well, or like walls or something. Can you imagine if the walls made Lush? That'd be kind of cool. Minor Gods, the Oceanus Carnivore God Power. The Water Carnivore has been adjusted as follows. So not the land one, just the water one. Fixed an issue where it would occasionally kill ships instantly. I've seen that. The Water Carnivore hack damage increased from 20 to 30. Water Carnivore Pierce Armor increased from 20% to 30%. So it's no longer going to one-tap ships, but it has been increased in defense. And it's damage as well. The Prometheus Alluvial Clay technology, Promethean and Promethean offspring hit points improvement decreased from 30% to 20%. So it's going to be a little 10% less than the average there. So it's going to make that Chronos Rush just a little bit softer, but still going to be powerful nonetheless. Thea. Poseidon's secret technology also reduces the cost of hero-rising cavalry units, which is going to be good. I'm excited about that too. Hesperides tree, probably butchered that name. Now also spawns 2 dryads each time it is cast. That's awesome. So basically, when you drop in the tree in, you would have to build them right away before, and now you actually get 2 right away when you drop in that tree. So that's really cool as well. I could definitely see that being a lot more effective too. Hyperion, heroic renewal technology, now also gives plus 10% hit points to heroes. Chaos, God Power, cost increase from 50 to 60, cooldown increase from 150 to 180. Yeah, we were seeing a lot of Chaos used in a few particular series and a few particular games there. So seeing that get a nerf, it makes sense. I'm happy they didn't over nerf it though, because that's one of the worst things is when something is really good, but then they over nerf it and then it's just never good ever again. So I'm happy they're taking it in shorter strides than just killing it outright. Leto, the spider layer, God Power. Cooldown reduced from 120 to 90 seconds. Good, because I barely ever see these used. Atlas Implode, God Power. Units are now sucked in faster. Good, because I've seen it way too many times. I know you guys have too. That Implode, they just run out of it, and then it doesn't do anything. So I'm excited to see that this thing's actually going to be more useful. Hopefully, be more of a menace, and we'll see some really, really big bangs out there. The myth units, the Prometheus, cost increase from 75 food in 8 favor to 90 food in 8 favor. So just an increase in food, their favor stays the same. The Limpades, the Hekate, adjusted as follows. Damage changed from 24 pierce, 20 crush to 24 pierce, 20 divine. That's going to make these really good. Like I told you guys before, divine is like the best kind of damage there is. It just ignores everything, really. Attack range increased from 10 to 12. So yeah, these guys are going to be really, really good now. They've been kind of lacking. I'm excited to see if we'll get to see some more gameplay from those. Human units, the Atlantean heroes, bonus damage with myth units increased. Oracle, 5 to 6x. The Katas, 8 to 9. Terma, 6 to 8. Murmillo, 5 to 5.5. Murmillos are already really good, so good thing they didn't overbuff those. Cantharius hero, 5 to 7. Destroyer, 9 to 11. Fanatic hero, 6 to 8. And the Arcus movement speed increased from 3.75 to 4. Ooh. And the hero was adjusted accordingly as well. That's going to make these even better because they were kind of slow before. Now that they've been increased, they can actually get in and out of situations a little better. And the Oracle heroes are no longer found selected with the Find Select Hero keys. That's good because when you're looking for heroes, you don't want to be just running through your oracles. They're not as really important in that situation. For buildings, the Economic Guild cost decreased from 80 wood and 15 gold to 50 wood and 15 gold. Note, therefore, the new cost for Guy is 30 wood and 9 gold. Lushko Burr. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. The manor adjusted as follows. Hit points increase from 500 to 800. Those manors are going to be tanky. Build points decrease from 28 to 25. Modding. So we're done with the balance, it looks like. General UI mods are now treated as safe for multiplayer, including ranked quick play. Fix bug causing mods not to install correctly when there is a sim link in the file directory. FOV from modded main menu background scenarios no longer persist into gameplay. Fixed an issue where unsubscribing from a mod was impossible if the original publisher had unpublished the mod. Ongoing investigation. As always, we are continuing to track issues reported by the community for future updates. For other known issues, please visit this page to see what's being tracked. So that's going to be the update, guys. Again, if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the chat. Again, I'm excited to see that we're getting these patches every so often here and that they're still putting a lot of effort into the game, even post-launch. Some games, they don't get that. So the fact that we are makes me really excited for the future of this game. But, as usual, my name is Yo Desla, and I'll see you guys next time.